Hey there. Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Impromptu Break Stream. I haven't done one of these streams on my break at work in quite some time. Figured why not? More and more, the last week and a half, has really had me contemplating how much more time or effort I want to bother putting into being present much online. Um, I've been on these platforms in some way, shape, or form since 2007. It's when I started my YouTube account back before it was owned by Google/Alphabet. I was on Blog TV back in the day. I've never been notable channel or personality on any of these platforms. Um, I just never had the knack for it. I'm not exactly a fascinating person, and I don't have the kind of theatricality that lends itself to making a career out of this sort of thing. I've never even tried to. Not that I would. I'm self-aware enough to know that this is not the kind of gig for me. But I've always enjoyed watching other people's channels or watching people's live streams, occasionally contributing as a member in the chat of the conversation, generally speaking. But even that's getting questionable the last 6, 7 months. And now with this really, really suspicious timing of all these various government agencies going for overreach and command and control over what can and cannot be said, what can and cannot be heard, what can and cannot be purchased, depending on your platform of choice or your entertainment of choice. Seems like a lot of our options for how we choose to spend our free time and or gainfully, legitimately earned revenue resources is under increasingly unpleasant scrutiny and control. I don't think it should escape anybody's notice that the vast majority of the current push towards censorship and control is coming from the UK, from Australia, from the United States, from Canada, and from New Zealand. These are the Five Eyes nations who have, since after the Second World War, been members of an agreed upon intelligence sharing framework. It does not shock me that these nations are now all seemingly coincidentally making a push towards utter control of what can and cannot be said or seen or heard. It doesn't shock me either that the primary push is against online activity. When you consider that the greatest voices of dissent, the loudest voices of dissent, the greatest methodology of sharing information that they can't glean control of with a vice-like grip is through means of online communication. It's not just in the entertainment industry where Hollywood and Bollywood and the the industry out of wherever it operates. They don't like the fact that folks are turning to video games or the internet, generally speaking, for their entertainment and for their interactions because they can't control it. It's outside of their traditional networks and power clubs. So why not throttle it? That's their solution. Is we can't control it, so we'll just make it unavailable to the masses and to the public. We'll use spooky language to scare everybody from using it. That's a George Carlin reference. And I'm going to make another one here. How a lot of these politicians in the UK and the US are talking about, we're doing these things to protect the children. Save the children. Think about the children. Protect the children. You know what I say? Fuck the children. That's a George Carlin line. Think about that. Mr. Conductor. I have kids of my own. I've got 4 of them at home. The oldest is 12. And she's hitting that age range and attitude lately where she'd rather spend more time with her friends than with her little brothers and little sister and my wife and I. It's understandable. It's natural. It's part of development, part of life. Fine. But I keep track of what she does online. How? Simple. I remind her that Mum and I pay for her phone in the first place and her tablet. So when I ask for them, she better fork them over. Plain and simple. If she doesn't want to wind up with the entire list of chores to be done around the house being listed with her name next to them, it's maybe not the most effective measure. It may be seen as a soft touch, but it works. She doesn't enjoy having to do or being expected to do all that crap. But if she just forks it over, lets me look through her history, see what she's got downloaded on her phone or her tablet, what she's been doing, where she's been going online, okay, she let me take a look through. I'm her parent. That's my job. That's my duty. And as my other kids get older, that's going to be my duty to them as well. I don't need the government shoving its great big conk in and getting involved. Likewise, I don't need YouTube/Google/Alphabet or whatever the name of their paymasters is to determine what they can and can't do. No, that's my duty. I'm their dad. Well, you can't always protect your kids. You can't watch them all the time, 24/7. You can't watch what they're doing at someone else's house. Fair do. My parents couldn't keep an eye on me when I was growing up everywhere I went either. Back in the 80s and 90s, as soon as I left the house, the admonition was, be home before the streetlights come on. Don't get arrested. If you do get arrested, guess what? We're not bailing you out. You're spending the night in the clink. Fair enough. And there's plenty of folks these days who would say, "Oh, well, your parents were neglectful. They would let you sit and rot in a jail cell." If I did something stupid and Barney enough to end up there for an overnight stay, yes, that would teach you the lesson. Don't do this stupid shit again. At least it should. Particularly if once you get home, you do get released. You get home to find your room looks almost as barren as the jail cell you just spent the night in. Now, thankfully, I never had to see that myself, but my older brother did. just the one weekend when he was a junior in high school. Him and somebody else got into a scuffle down at the beach, and he got hauled off, arrested, had to stay in the town jail cell for an overnight for getting into a fracas. Small town. We knew all the cops, and they knew all of us. So when they called my dad, they called our dad and said, "Hey, Newt, your boy's in jail." You know, I didn't hear the conversation. All I heard was my father pick up the phone. Tell him I said good night and hung up the phone. It was basically the end of the conversation. We didn't find out. My oldest brother Newton and I, we didn't find out until the next day. what Colin had done. And yes, the name Colin, if you've heard me say that before, yes, my wife and I named my younger son after my brother. They share a name. My brother Colin is his namesake. Um, yeah, I know it's a bit odd, Astro. It's going to be a brief one because I'm on break at work. A bit strange, I know. But anyhow, the point being that once upon a time, we left parenting to parents. And if parents didn't do their fucking job, their kids would grow up to end up being misbehaved, arrogant, nasty, errant dipshits. Or they would figure it out. They would figure it out. All right? You don't need to hold everyone's hand to get them through. And you certainly don't need the fucking government or Visa or MasterCard holding your hand to get you through. Another lovely little sidebar observation with regards to that whole situation, Visa and MasterCard. MasterCard apparently earlier today put out a statement saying, we've never, hold on, I've got a screenshot of it here on my phone because I saw it and I thought it was fantastically hilarious that they tried saying this shit. Uh-oh. Do I not have my screenshots? Screen captures? Here we go. Where is it? Maybe I didn't save it. Shit, I don't think I saved it. I should have, though. But the statement, they basically, MasterCard says, we've never tried to moderate the material that's on game developers' sites. Very clever wordplay there. Very clever wordplay there, MasterCard, because that's never what anyone accused you of. No one accused you of trying to play moral arbiter or busybody over a game developer's site. No, no, no. They rightfully, accurately accused you of attempting to moderate what was available for legal sale on game retailer sites. I know that your legal team probably cobbled together this statement, perhaps in an effort to play linguistic jujitsu with people so that you could call them out if they said, oh, but you're lying. You did try to do exactly what we said you did. Oh, but we never actually tried to play moral arbiter or busybodies or censors on a game development site. No, you didn't. And that's never what the accusation was from the beginning. From the beginning, the accusation, accurate accusation, by the way, demonstrably proven accusation, was that you played moral arbiter to what was available on video game retail sites. The retailer sites. Not the developers, the retailers. That's why you got community noted to hell and breakfast. At least I suspect it's why. Because you came in and tried to issue this public statement as a form of linguistic jujitsu, and someone smacked you around. Good. You deserve it. Now, there has been quite a bit of document scanning and reading and studying over the last day and a half or two from some folks who've, God bless them, they've taken the time out of their lives, particularly Madam Savvy, to sift through and go through all of the legalese in the cardholder agreement documents issued forth by Visa and MasterCard. And it says she did a video a little while ago, shared it out, saying, it is in there, buried in all of their over lengthy legal agreement, something only almost 300 pages. which you know as well as I do, nobody's going to read through all of that. Not even the merchants who agree to do business with you as a payments processor when they are a large and sizable private merchant company. They're not going to read through all that. At least most of them won't. Or they will read through it and go, okay, you know what? We don't like this language, but who are our other options? We've got to get payments processed by someone. They hold the ground as the middlemen of transferring or moving money from one place to another. That is their only function. Yet buried in their legalese, it states that they can and will terminate payment processing if a company should sell any product or service that depicts certain unsavory acts of a sexual nature, whether it be a real depiction with real human beings, which is already illegal, you dipshits, or even an animation or an illustration thereof, because it could be a risk to their brand. I got news for you, MasterCard and Visa. No one associates your brand with the products being purchased. I don't think of alcoholism when I think of MasterCard or Visa. Yet every alcoholic who's going down to the liquor store, who's not using cash on hand, and most of them don't even accept cash since the COVID-19 lockdowns that nearly destroyed the world's economies, by the way, thank you very fucking much, because they falsely said that it was a primary or major vector of infection passage. Get fucked. Prove it. Anyhow, oh yeah, you never did. Look, a mostly toothless maniac who's only got about 10 minutes left on his break at work, it manages to think of and say these things. How do you people not see it? Just because the drunkard who goes to the liquor store or goes to the grocery store and picks up a 12er or a 30 pack of Rolling Rock, he goes home, gets completely blissed out of his head. I don't associate that guy's alcoholism with Visa or MasterCard. I associate it with that guy being an uncontrollable jackass who can't, A, recognize he has a problem, or B, control himself. No one in their right mind associates Visa or MasterCard with the things that those cards are used to purchase. You know what association goes into my head and most people's head when they think of Visa or MasterCard? Their bank. Because your logo is on almost every debit, banking, or credit card in the world. Your logos or Discover or MasterCard. That's it. Maybe PayPal if someone's got one of those things. But the Visa and MasterCard logos are very notable because they're on almost every fucking card in the world. Everybody's wallet has one of those shining out at them. I associate your logo and your brand more with my fucking wallet than I would some gooner going on a video game website and purchasing a game where they call it pro bass and ass. If you reel in a fish and then fuck it, I don't know. I would sooner associate it with that guy's wallet than with having relations with a digital fish for some godforsaken reason. No one's going to make that connection. Unless, like me, they're a complete, bandy-headed idiot. Who is the make-believe person that Visa or MasterCard thinks is going to make that association between the product and their brand? No one. Do you know why? Because in order to be associated with a mark or a brand, you have to actually, I don't know, make something. You people don't make anything. You move money from one place to another. That's it. Your entire purpose, your whole meaning of existence is to move money from one place to another so that people can get the goods or services that they paid for with their legitimately earned money. Fuck off. As for YouTube, and yes, I realize I'm live on YouTube right now, so but what are the odds anyone there is going to hear or see this and think anything of it? Slim to nothing. So I'll just put this forth to the overlords over there. You do realize, don't you, that by kowtowing to this kind of censorious nonsense, you guys are shooting yourselves in the foot. People are going to run screaming from this platform when they come to realize that because of the errors that are inevitably going to crop up as a result of your AI usage to infer or identify people as being of age, that you're going to lose a whole lot of people as both viewers and content creators. They're going to flee and look for other options. You go through this every time you guys fuck up and do something stupid with your platform and its mechanics. If it's not broke, why are you trying to tamper with it? Every time you do, you lose traction and you lose reputation. If anybody is going to be said to be a risk to the brand of Visa and MasterCard, I would think it would be Google slash Alphabet slash YouTube, because you people keep fucking up your own systems. And who do you guys use for payment processing? I imagine the two biggies, right? Hey, Visa, MasterCard. Maybe that's somebody you should look at maybe dropping for processing. Would be Google slash Alphabet or YouTube, because they can't seem to maintain a good reputation. Food for thought. But who am I? Just leverizing the scales. Physics reference. It's nonsense. Okay. Um. Yeah. Anyhow, I'm gonna have to get going back into work here soon. Got time enough for one more smoke. Oh shit, that was not a good froggy look. Sorry about that. Looked like a bullfrog having a stroke. That wasn't good. And look, every platform has its ups and downs, pros and cons. Even Rumble has its pros and cons, especially this creator program that they've got. I know they're tinkering around the edges with it, trying to make it something sustainable. It's not from what I can see, or at the very least, it's not. It's not very enticing for somebody who enjoys the platform, who thinks it's mostly user friendly, particularly for a hobbyist like myself. There's no way I'd ever be a full time streamer. I've got a regular day job. I'm at it right now. I'm just on my break, so making use of the small bit of time I've got to hop on here. So for someone like me, kind of a normie, this should never be something that I could do full time or even part time. But the most, I guess, egregious part of the whole expectations or requirements to be in that program for me is the compulsory ad reads. Just as someone who's on the outside looking in and who I guarantee will never have enough of a following or enough free time of his own to commit to being a part of that program. Plus, you have to have a Rumble premium account, and I don't. All right. So I will never meet the requirements. I get that. So the expectation might be for anyone who's watching this at or from Rumble to say, well, what the fuck do we care what this guy says? He's never going to be in the program. He just admitted it. And maybe not, but I'm a regular user of your service. I pay attention to these things as a routine member of your service. Most of whose audience, by the way, pays attention to these things. If they didn't, you wouldn't have a functioning platform or viewer base. Let's face facts. The compulsory ad reads. Why? What is the purpose there? I get it. You want to satisfy your advertising partners. But you're going to compel the people in this program, who, by the way, are already doing you the solid of paying for a Rumble Premium membership themselves, and then they're trying to bring in other premium subscriptions because they're already being asked or expected or required to push premium subscriptions during their shows, and they're required to do a set minimum number of premium only viewer shows per month. You're just adding layers of exclusivity. Doesn't sound very populist to me. And isn't that part of the whole uh, attraction to Rumble as an alternative to YouTube? Is that it's supposed to be where anybody can come and say exactly what's on their mind? Isn't it supposed to be more free for expression of the creators and the users who are not like large content creators? Aren't we supposed to have more artistic and expressive freedom on Rumble as opposed to YouTube? If it's going to be more free, or if you're going to try and sell it as being more liberating than YouTube, then why do you have an exclusive club within your own ranks? Doesn't that defeat the whole notion of making it for everyone? I don't know. I'm spitballing and kind of flopping at the. You can kind of disregard that last point. I may be just be meandering. But anyway, I got to shut it down and get back into work. Cheers. Come on.